What's up guys, back for another Honkai Star Rail video. In this video we're going to go over what relics you should be farming for the double drop Realm of the Strange event. Do note that as always, because they always want to drop news or something right before they drop this event, we are a day late unfortunately. So best of luck if you already decided to hop in and do that, or if you're doing it last second, whatever it may be. Hopefully you got some good rolls. A lot of people like to call this the 2x Relic Remains event because you don't really get any good things sometimes, and I mean it is what it is, right? But in terms of what you should be farming, I'm going to help you out with that. But don't forget to like and subscribe. We're trying to eventually hit 10k. I know we're like nowhere close at the moment. I think we're 3,300 right now, so we're about a third of the way there. So you know, we could get closer to half of the way there if you hit that subscribe button. But anyways, let's jump into the list. So as always, there is going to be a few odd characters because they either use two piece, or it depends on what they're using. Now there is more characters, but most of the time it's really just very close in terms of what they want, so they're up on other parts of the list. So for depends, it really depends on what you're running with. For Boot Hill, it's going to be, are you running him super break or normal break, and that will depend on what you build him. Luca, if you're running dot Luca, if you're running break Luca. March is if you're running her the normal crit damage build, or you're running her break. Serval, crit rate, crit damage, dot, break, depends. Jue is, are you running her quantum, or are you running her with the break effect set? It really depends. She really wants to be break effect, but you can run her with both sets. And then Himiko, if you're running super break Himiko, or follow up attack Himiko. Then for they use two piece, it's going to be characters that use two different sets. So obviously I can't put them in fire and imaginary because, oh, it's like, oh, you use two-piece fire, you use two-piece healing or something like that, you know? So for Fujuan, I like to use two-piece damage reduction and two-piece HP. That way she gets a little bit more tankier and she has some more HP. That also affects how much she heals. Then for Robin, I like to use the two-piece dot set and the two-piece basic attack set because it boosts attack for the 2B set twice and she's got attack. Then for Huohuo, I like to use the speed and the healing one. Sometimes it depends on your rolls for Huohuo. I feel like with Huohuo you could put her full healing. I think the set I use most of the time is full on healing for the extra skill point at the start, but it really depends on what you want. I guess this one is more of a depends one. I will say we'll put her in depends. It really depends on how you're getting the most out of your Ho-Ho and what rolls you have on her. Then for Gallagher, you're using plus speed, or 2-piece speed, 2-piece break from any of the break effect ones. Luocha, I believe, is wanting to scale up attack, so you run him attack healing, speed healing, whatever it is. It's really funny for those healers because most of the time it's like, okay, you boost their healing or you boost their survivability, and then you give them speed so they can spawn more basic attacks in for you, so you get more skill points. Same thing with Natasha, Bailu, Lynx. And then Yukong is kind of a funny one because I've seen people do 2-piece speed, 2-piece damage reduction. I've seen people do 2-piece speed, 2-piece imaginary. I've seen like 4-piece imaginary. I've seen like all of it. So it really depends. I'm not too sure what her best set is, honestly, but I have seen a lot of 2-piece 2-pieces, so I thought I'd just put her there. Everyone else is pretty straightforward. In order of who I think is the best to farm, by the way, so I guess we'll go over that and then we'll go over the characters. So first things first, Path of whatever the hell that word is the Fire and Imaginary set, and pretty much no one uses it. Now, I do have an imaginary set on my ratio, but if you are farming him from scratch, you're going to want to go up to the debuff one instead. So if you are brand new and you're looking at this one, no one uses it. There's better domains to farm for, or domains, whatever they're called in Star Wars, right? I've been playing a lot of Genshin lately, so whatever they're called, there's just better ones, right? Then the next one is the healing and attack / basic attack up. And the reason for this one is because the basic attack set actually can be gained from doing weekly bosses. So you could technically just wait it out and get good pieces from that instead. And not a lot of people are going to use the healing full set besides a Quoho. A couple other characters are going to use the healing for a few things if you want to run that, but it's normally 2-piece, so you don't really need to be farming it too much. So this one is very low priority considering there's only 2 characters who want the basic attack. March is one of them technically, but it really depends on what you're running. But like I said, you can get it from a very varied means, so not really a must farm. Next up is the defense plus lightning, which, good lord, Probably some of the worst characters in the game are going to want these two sets. Arlen's like the worst DPS in the game. March is okay on freeze, right? Jeopard is a unit. Fire MC is a unit. And Aventurin's like, oh, chef's kiss. Beautiful unit. Love him so much. But are you really going to farm it for one unit and then half of the drops are going to be lightning, which are basically useless? That is a bit rough. There's a lot of these relics that take a dip because they're paired with something completely garbage. Next up is the physical and break set. Now, alongside the attack set, the break set can also drop from various weekly bosses. I believe there's also the follow-up set and the break effect, but those are more recent ones, right? And a majority of the enemies are going to be using the older ones. I believe it's just the Fei Zhao boss and the Sunday boss that use them. So it's only two bosses. Once more bosses are going to be using the new drops, I'll probably change it up and be like, okay, maybe they're lower on the priority list, but they also have a lot more characters, so that's why they're higher. So this one is just physical plus break. I just realized I have Su Sheng over here, right? But yeah, not a lot of characters are going to be using the physical set, so it's just low priority, really. Plus being paired with a set that is droppable from other means does kind of hurt it. Then we have, I just realized I haven't been saying the name, sorry, Path of Guild. Yep, this is the Ice and Wind set. So the only reason this is this high, right, because Jinglu is just the only character who uses the ice set, is because the wind set can be used on a lot of characters. The wind set, for its 4-piece, will action advance you by 25%. That is a lot. That's a lot. It's 25% is pretty massive. Reason I have only Pele here is because I think it is easily Pele's best, because she gets her ult so quickly. She's then able to action advance again to make her ult have a faster cycle, and I mean, she'll just be doing damage, she'll be giving you skill points, all that good stuff, so she's really good with it. You can run characters such as Bronya, Sparkle, all that stuff with speed tuning and all that good stuff if you want, but it really depends on if you're getting enough stats for it and enough speed, so it really depends. I think Wind is really good if you get the right substats on it, that's why it's where it's at. Then the Path of Providence is damage reduction plus quantum. Damage reduction is kind of whatever, only a few units really want it, it's kind of niche, but Quantum is a universally good set because it has defense lowering, and if you're fighting a Quantum enemy, it lowers defense even more, so you hit pretty damn hard. Plus, these are the 3 Quantum units who want it, and as you can see, there's not really much competition below it, so that's why it's where it's at. Then we have Path of Darkness, which is follow up and dot. Plus, the dot set also has a attack one, so it's a pretty solid 2-piece if you're running like 2-piece with just good crit rate, crit damage, or whatever stats that you need for that unit. So these units are going to be Jingyun, Topaz, Herda, Himiko is also here, and then all of the dot units, plus our good boy Jiao at the very end. So a lot of units are going to be using this set, so it is the best bang for your buck. If you're going for follow-up, you could get some good dot pieces. If you're going for dot, you could get some good follow-up pack pieces. And then later down the line, you have a good set. This is what happened. I tried to farm this for Kafka. Never got a good set for Kafka. And then I look back and Jingyun has an absolutely cracked set. And I was really happy, right? Obviously, I went in going for the dot set, but just because it was paired with the follow-up set, I got a pretty good set out of it. Then next up is Path of the Cavalier, which is Super Break plus the ult slash follow-up. Now, this one is pretty damn strong because they love to push out Super Break stuff. And there's also the added benefit of the Super Break set having break effect on its 2-piece. And then the ult and follow-up attack set is pretty damn good. Pretty much when you do a follow-up, your ult is going to do more damage, and all of these characters love ult damage and have a lot of follow-ups. So I mean, it's just a solid set. It is a bit niche, but if your character has follow-ups and hits hard on their ult, it's a pretty solid set, right? So that's why it is where it's at. Plus, a lot of the new units are using the set, so I'm sure we're going to get even more units that are going to use this set in the future as well. Then we have the Path to Dream Dive, which is probably going to be one of the best, if not the best, set to farm. The only reason I have the other one higher, I'll explain when we get to it, but this one is going to be the debuff set. Pretty much you apply a debuff to the enemy, you just get crit rate, crit damage for free, basically. And then it's going to be the break effect one as well, and there's a lot of break. I should probably add break sup, because this is the one that when you ult, you give break effect to the whole team. That's why Runeway and Harmony MC are here. Overall, this is a pretty solid set, just because the debuff set can be used on pretty much everybody, unless you are a character like the Harmony MC, sorry, the physical MC, who just doesn't apply anything when you attack. You can use a set and you get free crit damage. It's a pretty busted set. It's probably the most universally used set by pretty much every character, just because it is so easy to apply. Plus, if you just have debuffs on the enemy, you just do more damage. It's just free, bro. It's just free. Every character going forward pretty much inflicts debuffs at this point, just because you can't have a character that's just doing only damage unless you super hype them up at this point. They have to be doing something extra. So this set is pretty future-proof, I'm not gonna lie. Then the number one set to farm is going to be Path of Elixir, which is the HP plus speed. Now the HP 4-piece is pretty much locked to only Blade, but the 2-piece is HP, and the speed one boosts speed when you ult an ally, and also gives you speed on your 2-piece, which enables pretty much everybody down here for 2-piece speed, 2-piece speed, 2-piece speed, 2-piece speed, 2-piece speed, 2-piece speed, HP, like it's just such a universally good set. Plus, with the speed set, there's a lot of characters who want as much speed as possible. Have it be Bronya, Sparkle, Hanya, Asta, so it takes a bit to get a really good set on it. Plus, speed is such a good stat that you're always going to use. It's a bit of a debate if this one's higher than this one. I would argue that you could probably argue for both. This is the best universal one to farm, but I think this one is a bit harder to farm up. That's why I have it a bit higher, because more than likely you're going to get a decent crit rate, crit damage set, and you're going to call it a day. But with speed being only one stat, and obviously you have to roll into that one stat most of the time, could be a bit hard. Obviously, it really just depends on your luck, but more than likely you're going to have less good speed pieces than you are crit rate, crit damage for the debuff set, so that's why I recommend the speed one. Plus, for whatever reason, I feel like, speed being a pretty damn important stat, no shocker, it's going to be pretty high on the list. Obviously, if a new speed set does come out, this one's probably going to drop a bit because, it's only HP for the other side, and being a 2-piece can hurt it because you don't need to farm it as much. With 2 pieces, the benefit, for lack of a better word, I was going to use a different word, but benefit works just fine, is you farm a little bit, you get 2 pieces, and then you're good to go, right? It's not like a 4-piece where it's like, okay, cool, I have 3 pieces that are really good and that 1 piece that's really bad. Let me try to get it. Let me throw my relic remains at it. So you're going to be stuck in that domain a bit longer. But with 2-piece, you just get, 1 piece that's really good, 1 piece that's like okay, and you're pretty much out, right? But that's pretty much my thoughts on ranking the different relic drops. Obviously we have the characters here to help you out, because if you're only farming one character, obviously, like if you're building up, let's say Argenti, right? Obviously, even though Argenti's relics are pretty low on the list, just use them to farm Argenti, bro. Like, it is what it is. If you're focused on one character, definitely try to build that one character. But if you're not too sure and you want to try to get the best bang for your buck with, building multiple characters or just what you want to farm in general, I feel like this is a pretty good list. Let me know in the comments if you have any objections, you hate the list, you want corrections. Obviously people can look at the comments and go there as well if they don't trust me for whatever reason. I don't know why you clicked on the video and watched this far, but comment what you think of the list in the comments. Obviously commenting, here I am rambling. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe as always, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.